Clam Blitz. A few of us love it. Some of us are indifferent to it.
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
And many of us internally mini rage every time we see it in rotation. But why is Clam Blitz so hated? Does it really deserve the hate? And should it be in Splatoon 3? Well, stick around if you want to know what I think, because today we need to talk about Clam Blitz. So let's head back to where it all started, November 21st, 2017. Nintendo announced their latest updates for Splatoon 2, and oh boy, was it a big one. There were new maps, new hairstyles, a new salmon run stage, and for the grand finale, a brand new mode called Clam Blitz was to be added to the game. And on December 13th, 2017, a few weeks later, Clam Blitz finally became a reality, as the mode became officially playable to Splatoon fans worldwide. It sounds great, doesn't it? Splatoon fans get to enjoy a brand new mode, Nintendo enjoy an increase in Splatoon 2 sales, and everyone's a winner, right? Wrong. One thing about gamers, if we don't like something, you are going to know about it. I mean, just take a look at the Fortnite revert movement from 2019. And the Splatoon community were no exception to this rule. People had a lot to say about Clam Blitz, and they were not afraid to say it. December 2017 was well over 4 years ago now. Maybe people's opinions have changed. I'll answer that quickly. No. When I thought about making this video, I wanted to know what people's perception of Clam Blitz was like now. So of course, I headed to the opinionated central of the internet. And oh my goodness gracious me, the Bird app did not disappoint. All of these were posted in the last couple of months, so I think it's safe to say that people still don't really like Clam Blitz, do they? Now, this feels like a good point in the video to mention that although I'm making this whole video about Clam Blitz is not my favourite mode. I am 110% Team Tower Control every single day of the week. So why, you may ask, is our good friend Clam Blitz so very hated? Well, to put it simply and to quote iconic 2000s Disney movie High School Musical, Clam Blitz is the very definition of we're all in this together. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, Splatoon is a team-based game, aren't all online Splatoon games kind of we're all in this together? And yeah, you would be right. But not all team-based modes are created equal, my friend. In Tower Control and Rainmaker, your focus is primarily on one object, either the tower or the Rainmaker itself. In both of these modes, you're able to push objective and defend at the same time should you need to. The same goes with Splat Zones. You'll either be focused on one big zone or two smaller zones that are right next to each other, which again allow you to play objective and defend at the same time in theory on your own should you need to. In Tower Control, Rainmaker or Splat Zones, if for whatever reason your team are just not cooperating, which let's face it, in solo queue can happen quite a bit, you can still pull a superhero move and carry your team to victory. Essentially, they're modes that are team-based, but if your team aren't getting it together, you can still solo carry. Clam Blitz is the odd one out here.
Jesus turned to his disciples and said, "One of you shall betray me." And Peter said, "Is it me, Jesus?" And Jesus said, "No, it is not you, Peter." And Simon said, "Is it me, Jesus?" And Jesus turned to Simon and said, "No, it is not you, Simon." And Judas said, "Is it me, Jesus?" And Jesus turned and went,
In Clam Blitz, it's very difficult to be both defending and pushing objective at the exact same time as one individual player. And why? Well, because to win, you need to be defending your own basket while scoring in your opposition's, which wouldn't be a problem if the baskets weren't on opposite sides of the map. So if you choose to take a more defensive role and decide that you're going to protect your team's basket, you need to rely on other members of your team to be pushing objective and scoring at the opposite end of the map. The main problem people seem to have with Clam Blitz is that it forces you to play as a team. So now we know what people's problems are with Clam Blitz, how do we fix them? Well, you see, from what I can understand, people's problem with Clam Blitz generally isn't actually with Clam Blitz, it's with solo queue. From what I can gather, what's actually happening is that the limited communication options for solo queue are creating issues when trying to play as a team, and this simply manifests itself in a bigger or more noticeable way in Clam Blitz than in Tower Control or Rainmaker, for example. Because Clam Blitz forces you to play as a team just that bit it more. And you know what? I actually think it's a relatively easy fix. You see, the D-pad has 2 buttons that aren't mapped to any callouts or any actions that could easily be used to include some extra communication options. You could map one of the buttons to say look out or look behind you, since currently we only really have ouch, and you can only use ouch when you're already dead, and I think it would be probably more useful actually if you could have like a little or like a theatrical he is behind you style button when you're alive. I feel like that'd be way more useful. And the other button could be mode specific, where it would change depending on what mode you're in. So for Clam Blitz it could be throw clams, for tower control it could be get on tower, for Rainmaker it could be pick up Rainmaker, and for Splat Zones it could be something like stay in the zone. Essentially it would basically be a push objective button, which would hopefully limit the amount of times I'm sitting here yelling at my screen, get on the tower, pick up the Rainmaker, throw the power clam. Now the other problem people have said they've had with Clam Blitz was that it was initially very confusing to learn, and quite frankly I agree. Now this isn't a long-term problem like the communication issues, but I think it's definitely still a problem. I really don't think Nintendo did the best job of explaining Clam Blitz or really any of the modes within the game, since all they provide for every mode is a pretty wordy instruction list detailing how the game is played, when I think what would have worked better is perhaps a 30-second clip that players could click on that would demonstrate exactly how it would work in action. For something like a video game, a visual tutorial generally seems to work way better than written instructions. So, moving on to the final part of the video. Should Clam Blitz be in Splatoon 3? And if you want my short answer, yes. Most of the problems people have with Clam Blitz are nothing to do with the mode itself. Clam Blitz is pretty fun in my opinion, and I think it gets way too much hate for problems that can be pretty easily rectified. Splatoon at its core is a team-based game, and Clam Blitz is a mode that epitomizes needing teamwork to win. So with a few additional communication and tutorial features, I don't see why it shouldn't return. Clam Blitz is a team-based mode in a team-based game that essentially gets way too much hate for being based around playing as a team. Yeah, it's by no means perfect. There are flaws, but the flaws are generally not with the mode itself. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit like down below, press subscribe to become part of my gaming family, and remember, stay positive, stay smiling, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!